Celestial Gems is a series of 5 motivational speeches delivered by Thecla C. Deterville to various groups and organizations marking or celebrating special occasions. These speeches have been delivered to schools, women's groups, sporting and charitable organizations, and business enterprises. Thecla C. Deterville, Managing Director of Celestial Self-Development Center, holds a master's degree in business administration from the University of the West Indies Cave Hill Campus Center for Management Development. She served as president of the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture for 2 consecutive terms. She has been a board member of several local institutions and organizations.
This address was first delivered to the management team of Julian's Supermarket in February 2002 and was entitled, "I Am a Manager, Me Incorporated." Yes, strange topic. How can I be me incorporated? I'm an individual. As managers, we are called upon to manage the resources of the organizations that employ us. Our first undertaking has to be how we manage ourselves. And this is why I have chosen the topic, Me Incorporated. This is how we should market ourselves. And that obviously speaks of our ability to perform at the level that the business environment in which we function dictates. If we are to fit into that mode, even though we are employees, our demeanor and our attitude to our jobs, our passion for our work must be that of an entrepreneur. By the manner in which we function, anyone observing us should be at pains to determine whether we are owner or employee. There is a saying, fake it until you make it. What better place to practice being an entrepreneur but while someone else is paying you to do so? If you do not make use of this opportunity, you will certainly be shortchanging yourself. This reminds me of a customer service DVD entitled, "Act Like the Customer, Think Like the Owner." This is sound advice because it means we are in learning mode and preparing ourselves to eventually be business owners if this is what we desire. As managers, we must have a holistic approach to our development. I want to suggest a checklist here that will provide us with an opportunity for introspection. It goes like this. Do you have the necessary academic qualifications? I must say, this is the least of our problems. Can we consider ourselves as educated? Note here, academic qualifications and education is being treated as 2 separate questions because they are. Do you understand yourself? That is, who am I? Not just a name and a title, but knowledge of self. Do you understand the people with whom you work? You must know them before you can work with them. They are all individuals, unique in their own way. How is your social life? How is your spiritual life? I'm not necessarily talking religion. How is your health? Are you taking better care of the car and the house than of your body? Does your performance measure up to the stated expectations of your employer? Do you have personal, professional, and organizational goals? How often are these goals re-examined and new strategies formulated to facilitate progress? Are you a team player? Or is it all about you? Is your autobiography entitled I, and more I? Do you lead by example? Or is it a case of do as I say, but don't do as I do? Would you like to have a boss like you? Are you interested in the development of people? Or is your answer to the problem, send them home regardless? Are you making a difference in your organization? If not, why not? or are you waiting for someone else to do something? If yes, can that contribution be measured or quantified? This is not about a guilt trip, but rather an aid to assist us in reflecting on our role as managers. It is as relevant to you as it is to me. As managers, we must remember that we are not indispensable. Whereas there may not be anyone who can perform a particular task the way we can, there are lots of other people who can do other things better than we can. Even if our employer may have to engage 2 or 3 more persons to perform all our tasks, we can still be replaced. In the emerging competitive and result-oriented marketplace, we will not be judged by our past performance or our length of service. We earn our space by our current or most recent performance. The big question to be answered is, am I adding value? I repeat for emphasis, am I adding value? If the answer to this question is no, there is certainly need for a reality check. The competitive nature of business today dictates that we earn our keep. It is not about our looks or how qualified we are or who likes us. It is about our performance, our contribution to the bottom line, and the sustainable growth and development of the business in which we are employed. I do not talk here about busy, unproductive work. I talk of smart, focused, and result-oriented work. Our relationships with our colleagues, co-workers, and subordinates will determine how effective we are at achieving the results that we want. We need to understand the value of relationships and relationship building. Your mission statement exposes clearly your commitment to your customers, your staff, your suppliers, your investors, and your country. As managers of this organization, that undertaking is entered into on your behalf. You are a critical partner in relationships with all your stakeholders. The quality of these relationships will impact the level of loyalty and commitment that you can expect from these parties. We must also recognize that workers are not pawns to be pushed around on a chessboard. We are in the age of the knowledge worker. Relationships cannot be handled on a one-size-fits-all basis. Whereas there are fundamental principles such as fairness, firmness, consistency, and mutual respect that should form the basis of such relationships, the maxim, different strokes for different folks, applies as it pertains to the differences in personality that we encounter in the workplace. We must develop the required expertise for managing such diversity. Communication at all levels is an imperative, not simply the talk-down type, but we must develop excellent communication skills at all levels, be they top-down, down-up, or horizontal. The need to know is important to all of us. We know what it feels like to be left out of the communication loop. Why make it a vicious circle? Within that communication loop, we must take into account matters of confidentiality as well as being receptive to feedback. None of us have all the answers. And to borrow a line from Deterville, listen to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. We can sometimes gain powerful insights into the root cause of a problem by listening to suggestions from people at the ground level. They have the experiences. They hear the comments. They are in direct and constant contact with our all-important customer base. They are in some cases our ears and eyes. We should make use of such sources of information. We will be well advised to pay more attention to the message and not necessarily the messenger. We must continue to innovate, search for new ways of doing new things. As if we continue to do the same things the same way, we will achieve the same outcome. When last did you surprise yourself or experience that wow factor that you felt when you produced an excellent project? Think back at the rush of blood, the sense of pride, that feeling of elation. Yes, that sense of satisfaction for a job well done. Yes, that was my work. I did it. The fact that you are no longer in a formal institution of learning does not mean that the growth process should stop. You are now at the place where it is at. Look at the realities of the marketplace around you and see how things have changed. There are more graduates, more persons with master's degrees, more persons with multiple degrees, more opportunities to earn such degrees. Look at what is happening to your competition. They too have realized that sitting on old money and doing new things the same old way does not work. As market leaders, you cannot become complacent. You must know that it is easier to play catch up than it is to maintain a comfortable lead. You as market leaders in your field must continue to push the envelope, to raise the stakes, to set the pace, and to keep widening the gap. That cannot be achieved through wishful thinking or through laziness or complacency. Obviously, it is out of this recognition that you are here. It calls for calculated and determined action, a team approach, a well thought out strategy and work plan which is reviewed periodically for timely delivery and relevance, as well as effective and efficient management of all your resources. Your objectives must be set, your strategies formulated, your measurement standards clearly defined, and your current standing constantly re-evaluated and reassessed. Such planning and strategizing takes hard as well as smart work. It takes commitment both to yourself and to your organization. It takes consistency in performance. It takes innovation as well as a passion for what you do. These must be your watchwords, and you must dare to continue to make a difference. Remember that as managers, you cannot afford to rest on your laurels. We must check in on our paradigm, how we see things, how we view the world. We must be conscious of our changing environment and be proactive in our responses to the changes that we foresee or anticipate. We must be sensitive to emerging trends. And last but not least, we must, as Steve Covey says, continue to sharpen the saw. This is Covey's 7th habit of highly effective people. Continue to read relevant material. I find the Harvard Business Review particularly relevant, trendy, sound, and informative. In defining analysis, you are to invest in yourselves as individuals. It is about adding value both to yourself and to your organization. This is what counts. Like the machines we use, if we do not develop and grow, we too can become obsolete. I want to encourage you to continue to develop yourself as holistic individuals. That thirst for knowledge must be constantly nurtured and nourished. We must be committed to lifelong learning, learning that guides our actions, that forces us to constantly find ways to improve our performance. There are lots of books out there that could assist you in this quest. We need always to remember the importance of working with people towards achieving stated goals and objectives. It is a we thing, not an I thing, as those with whom we work can either make or break us. Without a willing and able workforce, the best thought out strategies can amount to zero. Earlier, I suggested a checklist comprising questions to assist in introspection and self-examination. As managers, coach and mentor your employees, because a well-trained, highly motivated, and committed workforce augurs well for you. It increases your chances of success as a manager. Treat your people as you would want to be treated yourself. Be fair, be consistent, show empathy, set standards, and lead by example. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.